Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Today we're gonna discuss or compute about multi-thread genotype, adductype, distance index, and multi-thread stability index. And this is the last version or last tutorial in which how to compute alpha lattice design using different using in different contexts. That means for across environments or locations and across years. So let's run this one, the first three package, which is help us to compute the modules. And I think you are familiar with this data because this is our second tutorial, or I think this third tutorial regarding alpha lattice design across different location and years. So let's run. This is just to convert important factors like genotype, environment, replication, and block. As all of you know that multi-thread means it is more than one thread. So for sake of this tutorial, we're gonna use grain yield, ear length, ear diameter, and some lengths. I forget the name, the abbreviation for this one. Anyways, that is our threads. So let's run, which is very important. And this also to calculate, which helps us to calculate the best linear and biased prediction, but we don't need it here because we already did it before. And also I discussed this topic before, and this is when we have zero variance or approximately zero variance. That's why we're gonna using this one, which is help us to calculate the multi-thread genotype index as well as multi-thread stability index. And this one, let's bring all best linear and biased predictions because we have four different threads, 1, 2, 3, 4. For that reason, we're gonna need to combine all blip together. So you're gonna use this one, yeah, this code easily. Then if you want to see all for grain yield, for ear length, ear diameter, and for CL, like this. As you see here, ear length and CL is almost zero. That means we will not consider this one, and we're gonna remove this zero variance threads using the code automatically. How to do that one? And then we must identify the true thread. That means thread that the thread that has more than zero. It's not on zero, yeah. So we should identify those important one, and so we're gonna expect grain yield and ear diameter, but the rest, that means ear length and CL, are not important. So let's check. Yeah. So as you see here, it's listed all, but the meaningful or the important one is grain yield and these two. So what shall we do? Let's cull or let's remove by telling by using this code. That means this 110 raised minus 8. That means to keep a thread whose value is greater than 0.01. This indicate this one. So that means we're gonna get with the thread values that has greater than 0. Yeah. So let's show you here. It's only grain yield and ear diameter. And don't confuse here. That means for all blip, -1 means to exclude the column that contain genotype, and 2 means here to start from column 2, which is our threads, And at the same time, var means to calculate the variance. So that is a definition, yeah. And you have to use here apply function. So we selected now two traits which have greater than, which have non-zero variance, yeah. So that means greater than 0. Otherwise, our calculation will be wrong. Then again, we filtered like this. I'll show you. So here it is. So only we're gonna see we have two blips. That means grain yield and the ear diameter. In case if these things are not still a factor, we must convert as a factor. That means the genotype should be there, and also genotype should be or treated as a factor. And here we should also omit the genotype. That means -1 means exclude the genotype and keep the remaining traits value as a numeric. Yeah, you see here as numeric. And here, which is exclude a genotype from blip that contain all, from all we filter that contain non-zero variance, avoid the column, and consider the trait as a numeric. That's the definition of this script. Then here we have like this, the clear one. So let's start our calculation. For example, the isotype vector that I want in this case is the ear diameter. Because grain yield is dependent on ear diameter, so I select ED. ED, that means it's my isotype or my ideal trait that I want to calculate or as a reference point. Yeah, and you can here change as your objective or as your goal. Maybe for some people those are treating maybe in oil content or whatever. So for this one, I can give high or low. Yeah, so maybe I can assign here, I consider as high, and the other one as consider as a low. So by this way, I can select the ideal trait using this method. Then let's run multi-trait genotype isotype distance matrix using MGIDI function, which is based on metal package. Thanks to Professor Tiago Olivato for creating this wonderful code or script or package, so that we're gonna do based on his findings. So we're gonna use this function, and we assign all filtered that contain non-zero variance. That means only including the best linear and biased prediction model that contain grain yield and ear diameter. And the ideal, isotype means which is the ideal trait that you want. So in my case, which is ED, we assigned already here, and I give a value here, high and low. So because we have only two traits, if you have more than two traits, in case let's say 3 or 4, it should be like that, high, low, high, low, high, low, yeah, or maybe it should be 3, but we have only 2, so I provide. That means ED takes the high and the granite takes the low. That's my point. Then let's run our code accordingly. So as you see here, the selected genotype is G13, G4, G7, is G15. That means it is the less distance from the matrix. So we're gonna select trait that has the less distance from the center or from the ideal trait. That means the best genotype. The furthest is the poorest. So let's see the genotype ranking. So as you can see here, 0.02, 0.05, 0.06, 0.07. So accordingly, genotype 13 with less distance, and then it's followed by genotype 4, which is 0.05 distance, and then genotype 7 with 0.06, and genotype 15, which is 0.07. You see, so the less distance from the center or from the ideal trait, that means it is the best genotype. Based on this, we selected genotype 13, 4, 7, and 15. If you want to generate a plot, yeah, you can also generate like this, and here with 15, 17, 4, and 13. So here you get the selected genotype by a red point. So that means it is not a cutoff, but it will show you which genotype are ideal for your experiment. And the next one is we're gonna do for a multi-trait stability index. So I tried to use MTSI function that's based on Tiago Libato, or that's based on Metan package, but I couldn't succeed it. Yeah, so I generate another way, which is a manual way that helps us to compute a multi-trait stability index. And at this time, it is based on the weight. It's not based on the index. So the result will be as vice versa. Normally, for example, in this case, if the distance is less from the origin or from the ideal, that means the best. But in multi-trait stability index, in what I did, it is based on the weight. So the higher the number, that means the best genotype, or it will be favor for selection of a genotype. So keep this on your mind. So let's do again. This is just it's repetition, because to be sure that still the genotype still considered as a factor, and the remaining trait considered as numeric. And what we need here is just to standardize our trait. So standardization means, as all of you know, that having a mean value which is equal to 0 and a standard deviation 1. I think I did one or two tutorials regarding this, and I strictly recommend you to trace back or just to check one of those my videos. So this is standard deviation. Blep standardized means now we're gonna assign all the filtered values that has non-significant. That means that has no zero variance, which is filtered like this. We're gonna expect for grain yield and ED without any zero variances. And then when you use the scale function and excluding the genotype, it will be standardized. Yeah, it will be standardized. So here the weight you can give as you wish. For example, we have two traits. That means the grain yield and the ear diameter. So I give 50-50%. Maybe if you want to favor your grain yield, you can give for grain yield 0.6 and 0.4, or maybe it's 0.7 or 0.3, whatever. It should be, their sum should be 1. And in case if you have, let's say you have 3 traits, that means grain yield, ear diameter, and ear length. At this time, maybe you can assign 0.4 or 0.3 and 0.3. So our sums is 1. So you can do like this. Then finally, we have this weight, which is 0.5 that I give the same amount for both threads. So we're gonna run here, and I use here as matrix. So the way I calculate after I'm making standardize my data, and then I use a matrix, then using this weight, that means 50-50. So you can do like this, and then now we can rank our genotype. So accordingly, as I told you before, so we're gonna select that traits that contain with a high number, yeah, with a high number. So based on this, the multi-trait stability index manually shows 1.45, which is for genotype 3, 1.1 with for genotype 5, 1.08 for genotype 16, and 0.85 for genotype 6. So if I want select genotype 3, 5, 16, and 6 based on my result. And again, if you want to calculate this one using a graph, I'm gonna show you how to do it. But this one is the clear form in which it will show you the genotype and the multi-trait stability index that computed using a manual way, an average weight of 0.5, 0.5 for each trait. That means for cranial and for ear diameter. So in case if you want to do in a graphical way, you have to use a ggplot function. Then blip std means which is standardized, and then we're gonna reorder, and here the x-axis will take the genotype, and also it's by considering the multi-trait stability index result, and again the y-axis here also is multi-trait stability index manual. That means we get the result. Then the bar identifies, you can change this one the color if you want. For example, maybe I can use here red, whatever as you wish. And then you can also flip the coordinates, but that doesn't matter to you. And then x-axis is genotype, y-axis is manual multi-trait stability index, and you can give the title as you want. So let's run this one. So this is the way in which you can represent the graph using ggplot function. So guys, this is all about today's tutorial, and as usual, if you have any question regarding my tutorial or maybe suggestion, please drop your comment in comment section. And thank you once again. See you next time.